Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we're going to look at something you see literally every single day but probably never give a second thought to. The simple, boxy buildings that house our favorite fast food chains. And believe me, there's a hidden logic to their design that has almost nothing to do with food.
I mean, just think about it for a second. You drive down any busy street in any town and you see them, right? One after another. A McDonald's, a Taco Bell, a Wendy's, all kind of crammed into that same basic rectangular shape. So what's the deal with that?
All right, so your first instinct, and mine too, is to come up with some pretty obvious reasons for this. And you know what? Those reasons are totally valid, but they don't even come close to telling the whole story.
Yeah, we all assume it's just smart business, right? You want your brand to look the same everywhere. A simple box is obviously cheaper and way faster to build. It lets you standardize the kitchen layout, which is super efficient, and of course, we can all spot that familiar shape from a mile away. It all seems to add up, but only on the surface.
Because even though all of that is true, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Those reasons completely miss the real, #1 driving force behind this design. There's a core financial strategy at play here that is way more important than what's on the menu.
So let's get into the real secret. This has nothing to do with perfecting the kitchen workflow or finding the best spot for the soda machine. No, it has everything to do with the piece of land that building is sitting on. This one quote right here, this is the key that unlocks the whole thing. The biggest fast food corporations in the world, they aren't really in the food business. For them, the business is and always has been real estate first and food second. And this chart just lays it out so clearly. On the left is what we all think they do, sell burgers, manage the day-to-day, and compete with other restaurants. But the reality, on the right, is a completely different game. They own prime real estate, they act as the landlord to their own franchisees, and their real competition is for the best corner lots in town.
So, how does this real estate first mentality actually influence the shape of the building? Well, this is where that boring little box reveals its hidden genius.
The whole strategy revolves around a concept called asset versatility. It's a fancy-sounding term, but the idea is incredibly simple. Design a building that can easily become anything else later on. The goal isn't to build the world's greatest burger joint, it's to create a blank canvas that protects the property's financial value for decades to come.
And that's the absolute core of it. They aren't designing a building for the company that's there today, they're designing it for whatever bank, pharmacy, or coffee shop might want to move in 10 or 20 years from now. The building's second life is way more important than its first.
And you can see how it works, step by step. A really unique, custom-designed building, that's actually a huge financial risk. But a simple box, when the fast food tenant leaves, you just peel off the logos and the paint, and poof, you're left with a generic, adaptable shell that can be turned into almost anything else, super cheaply and super quickly. The investment is protected.
Okay, let's just zoom out for a minute, because this isn't just some interesting business trivia. This one strategy has had a massive, profound effect on what our towns and cities actually look like.
So when you're driving down the road and you see that long line of nearly identical buildings, you're not really looking at a row of restaurants. What you're actually seeing is a physical, real-world portfolio of financial assets, all intentionally designed to be as interchangeable and low-risk as possible.
So let's just wrap this all up. What's the big takeaway here? Well, first, these fast food giants are basically real estate companies hiding in plain sight. Second, that bland, boxy architecture is a deliberate, financially brilliant choice to tenant-proof their property. And finally, this quiet economic logic is one of the biggest reasons our modern world looks the way it does.
So I'll just leave you with this question. The next time you pull into a drive-thru, take a look around. Are you really standing in a restaurant? Or are you just a temporary guest inside a single, tiny square in a massive, global real estate portfolio? Kind of changes how you see things, doesn't it?